Hi guys! So are we getting ready for the live stream? Hopefully. My name is Oona Kivelä and we're here in Helsinki at the Vertical Club aerial pole studio, and I will be starting answering your questions soon. I will have the chat running soon about the questions, and I have some previous questions that you have already sent me. So just keep on writing the questions to the live stream chat, and I will be reading the questions straight from my screen. Let's get started with the first question. Whew. It's getting warm here. So let's see. So the first question Sanna had, she was asking about the next competitions. So yes, it's January 2013, and there's an interesting year coming up competition-wise. There are, I would say, two competitions that I will definitely enter. There is Pole Art 2013, and this year, 2013, it will be held in Helsinki, Finland, so my hometown again. I will be honored to participate in this competition this year again. I'm also looking forward to IPC. They just announced the event and the place, so it will be in Singapore. Was it 30th of November? So that's a definitely yes for me this year too. So I will say, like, these two competitions later this year, you will be seeing me in hopefully both of these competitions if everything goes as planned. There is a third competition that I'm still thinking about, and that will be in July, the World Pole Sport, this competition that they hosted last time in London. So that's still something that I'm planning to maybe do. So I hope that was an accurate answer to your question. Let's move on to the next question. Mä en näe chatissa mitään. So there was another question about my weaknesses, and it says, what are your weaknesses in terms of pole dancing, or what kind of things you would like to do better? This is a really, really good question, an interesting theme too. I would say one of my strengths is the fact that I do acknowledge what my weaknesses are. So, like, let's say when I started pole dancing, I was a former gymnast. Like the strong stuff, like the strength moves, they came really easy to me. But about being really, really strong, there are stuff that, let's say, flexibility wise, flow wise, it makes it really hard. So when I started off with pole dancing, I noticed right away after my first competition, when I saw my video from Pole Art 2009, that I still do appear like a gymnast. I have, like, the hands are very kind of gymnast-like, and that was something I really wanted to change, and that was something I didn't want to see and appear that way on pole. About my other weaknesses, well, flexibility is of course something that I had to work on a lot. So as a gymnast, I didn't have like completely straight knees, or my ankle wasn't really straight, or I had to work with my flexibility, like my upper body flexibility, to really, you know, open it up to get it moving. That was a definite like flaw that I saw right away, and I definitely needed a lot of work to get my upper body moving. And yeah, I remember actually entering the the second and the third competition, and I remember stretching probably for like 6 months every night for like hour and a half, just because I saw my flaw, and I didn't like what I saw, and I was like, we need to correct this, okay? So that's when I started doing like really regularly something to work on my goal. And yeah, I wanted to see my next video with perfect lines, with completely straight knees and stuff like that. So yeah, that was very hard for me as an ex-gymnast and as a very dynamic and quick person to just kind of like relax and take my time with the stretching and just really look into the things that I wasn't really good at. Another thing I would still want to talk about is when people, I see pole dancers that are really strong, or then there are pole dancers that, let's say, they're really very flexible. So I would want to give you like a tip that when you're working on your pole things and whatever you would be doing sports in your life, it's really important that you see the areas that you are strong at, and then the stuff that maybe does not, you know, that needs to be better. So a lot of people who do the strength moves, they want to keep on doing the strength moves and they want to skip the flexibility part. Or instead, like the flexibility people who are really flexible, they want to keep on doing that stuff and maybe skip some of the stuff that would require strength. So just remember to really think about what's healthy and what is good for you in terms of being a good artist and just an athlete on pole. So you have basically, you don't skip any parts. You kind of want to do everything, and then maybe do double as much the stuff that you're not that good at, and then kind of just maintaining the stuff that you're really powerful and good at. I hope that was a good answer for you. The next question is about the Oona collection. There was a question about when I was designing the line for clothing, what did you take in consideration? I actually took a couple pieces of them with me just to show some of the details, because I saw this question already before. And one thing, like the power line, like all the tops and the bottoms that has the rubber band in the side, that's basically something that was really like something that I was drawn into. I love when the training outfits are really tight. You know, you can feel it nicely around you. You can feel that they're not moving around. And yeah, the power tops and bottoms are definitely designed for a really tight and like a fit that really stays on. The flow tops and bottoms are basically more softer, more flowier. So it's something that when you don't want maybe a outfit that gives you too much just pressure, so I would definitely recommend the softer line. So the flow tops and bottoms. So just a couple quick things. We all know the shorts are really hard to find. I'm not sure if you can see, I'm just gonna show it right here. So let's say the shorts, when we were designing the shorts, the main thing about it was, of course, this part. I'm sorry, I have to show it to you this way. But the whole thing about it is that it needed to be wide enough, okay? So it's like when you're moving around on pole, there's always that time when it starts to move, right? So we wanted to kind of like cut in a piece and insert like rubber bands on both sides so that it's really tight and it really stays on place. That's like the main idea with the shorts. Also with the tops, let's pick this top for example. So with the rubber bands, we would make them basically stay on place, and there's a lot of different models and different outfits that kind of fits. One fits better to another person than the other one. So it depends on the person, but there is definitely one outfit for everybody to really find the best, let's say, model for each body type. But I'm really pleased with all the garments, and we I would say like the shorts are the best thing. They're really like we got it really low cut from like up here, and also the low part, so they're really kind of like the way I would say when I'm on pole and I need to do maybe a bit more difficult movements, so they don't disturb the movement. They stay on place and they're tight enough. So let's go to the next question. So there's a question, it says, do you have some good tips for training, especially the abdominal muscles and the other muscles in the central body? What kind of exercises could I do, for example, on pole? Well, this is a great question. I would say I'm all about the core training. It's really important to remember the training outside of pole. So what Ida is asking here is like what she could do with the like the central part, like the core area on pole. I would say don't maybe think about the core training on pole, take it off pole. I'm just gonna show you real quick some exercises on the floor. And this was a really good question, by the way, because I really wish that people would remember the training that you really need to build your body, to start from the core and then going up to the arms and going down to the legs. So I'm just gonna show you really quickly some of the movements that I would usually do when I do my warm-up. So to begin with the stomach, this is basically just stuff that I was basically trained when I did gymnastics. So it's really just taking all from that gymnastics world, and it's a great add for the core. So just a couple of different ones. Hold from side to side. You can even use it here. So I would be basically working with my upper body and the lower body, do some exercises with both of them moving at the same time. And you know, the idea is that I could do that maybe, you know, 8 times, everything 8, everything 10. I would repeat the entire, you know, stomach, back, sides, and then maybe go again for 2 more rounds. So it depends how much you want to be working with them. Let's see some moves on my stomach, working my back. Hold. Same thing from side to side. So basically, just repeating the same pattern. Upper body, lower body, working both. Here's just some examples that you can do and, you know, just do variations with them. Same thing with the sides. Upper body, hold, lower body, hold, both. Maybe hold it up here, doing little push-ups, some stretching. All right, so here's a couple moves that you could include in your warm-up or in the even in your training, you know, to just improve your core and get it tight. So the next question we have from Amika is, how do you train so much with kind of any little injuries, and especially the arms? So, for example, my arms can't handle the pressure when training more than 3 times a week. A great question again. What I do use a lot for my arms is resistant bands. So I would probably do maybe once, twice, 3 times a week, just some training to after like a really tough training on pole, I would use the resistant bands just to, you know, to soften it down and make sure that my, you know, arms are working well. And definitely this is the key, how I don't break my, you know, arms and don't get maybe injured in my shoulders and elbows, because this is what I use. So just a couple of moves that I could show you here. Just pulling down, use the wrists. Same thing this way. Maybe some rolling. Just different kind of stuff. Same thing to the other side. This way. Okay, so just it doesn't even matter. Sometimes when I do this training, I think about more what kind of movement my shoulders and arms want to do, you know. So it's, you know, sometimes I want it to get more stretched out. Sometimes I want to get more kind of like to the back, you know, involve the back more to really go down to it. So it depends a little what I've been working on and where I need like kind of like the softness to go then after a hardcore training. Something what I want to emphasize also is like when you do a really intense training on pole, you tend to get really tense afterwards. So it's like you get really tight. And I would want you to maybe sometimes when you do your cool down, you should maybe warm up the muscles one more time. And the resistance band training is a really good exercise to do. So maybe you could do your cool down in like a couple of hours, you know, some stretching, but right after the really intense training on pole, you could actually, you know, do some dancing or use the rubber bands to really warm up the body one more time, and then, you know, skip, end up with the training. So it's a really good way to, for the next day to not feel so tight and it really does relieve the muscle pain to warm up the muscles again. Okay, so remember, resistant bands, they're really good help, and I definitely think that every single pole dancer should be using them. Okay, let's move on to the questions from today. So I will be reading the questions from the live stream now. It says, this is from Veronica. Who are my favorite pole dancers? That's a good question. When I started off, I did see and I did watch pole dancing videos, but I would have to say like my idols as an athlete and just people who did sports would be mainly ballet dancers, like male ballerinas or ice skaters, or, you know, figure skaters, or it wasn't really, I saw the potential in pole, but then in the beginning did not look up to too much to pole dancers. I kind of took like inspiration from different sports, and that's how I, you know, collected them together. But at the moment, my favorite pole dancers, I would have to say Marlo Fiskin, Steven Retchless, who else? Michelle Stanic's last video was amazing at USPDF. Then there are some nice videos I see here and there. I mean, they can be even like really beginner people that I really just love their flow and their way of expressing. Natasha Wang, Phoenix Casray, a lot of Americans. Yeah, true. Laurence Ilsum, I would have to say we do share the same idea of pole art, and I do believe there's a big future in the pole art section, kind of. Yeah, that's just to name some of my favorites. Was Veronica's first question? Oops. Sorry, I skipped a couple questions, my bad. Okay. Somebody asked, can we ask questions here? Yes, you can. How does my training look like during the week? Well, let's pick this week. I've done 2 times Bikram Yoga, so really hot stuff. I mean, almost unbearable. That's something when I go outside my comfort zone. That's something that I do not like static poses, but I still know it's really good for my body. And I do that stuff now regularly, and I really want to work on my flexibility again, and definitely like when the flexibility is like active. So it's like I really want to get the best out of me, and Bikram Yoga is one of the biggest help that I get in the flexibility section. I have breakdance in my weekly schedule and a couple times of pole. Now I'm kind of like in the off season. I'm still not going fully because my competitions will be later this year. But I will be, I just came back from New York City, and that's where I started doing my new routines and combos. So that's what I'm kind of like preparing and working on my combos. But I would say something between 3 till 5 practices a week. Somebody's asking when I have my next champion. Does that mean when will I be next as a champion again? Hard to say, but like I told you, there will be at least two competitions. So Poleranking 2013 and IPC. Who is my biggest inspiration? That's a really good question. I would have to say, when I was talking about the male ballerinas, so Baryshnikov, I would have to name one. Like, phenomenal jumps, phenomenal presence, everything about his way of moving is just beyond amazing. So ballet dancer Baryshnikov. I do look up to gymnasts too. So my ultimate favorite gymnast is a girl named Courtney McCool. Amazing power, style, such dynamics in her training, and she's definitely a big name for me, or was. Then I would say different dancers, maybe not a particular like one dancer, but just one dancer from different kind of like, there can be a break dancer, there can be a modern dancer. So I kind of take the best out of them and kind of look into all these different kind of dance and performers, artists. There's one question that what kind of activities would you recommend to do to improve your straightness? I think you mean maybe flexibility wise. Like I said, definitely different kind of yoga activities. Any kind of gymnastics for adults. I mean, flexibility, it's everywhere. Flexibility should not be taken as this is power and this is flexibility, or this is something else. Flexibility is in every movement, and I would hope like more and more people would understand how important it is to do the different kind of flexibility training, and because it's not just the extreme flexibility stuff, it's also you need different kind of movements to just be a healthy athlete and be able to move well. So I don't have any specific recommendation for flexibility training. It can be wherever, whichever sport you do, and there's a person who understands what it means to train these different kind of flexibility moves, and just so they do it healthy. You know, I'm not too much for these hyper extensions and like really going into these extreme moves. I think there are people who have like an ability to do this kind of moves. I for example, I don't. And I'm really careful with the different flexibility moves that I do. And I for myself, it's more about being healthy and, you know, just opening up the different places in your body and be flexible in that way, in a healthy way. How many times a week do I do workout? It definitely depends on if I'm off season. Like I said, it could be from 3 till 5 times a week. Maybe in like a 90 minutes or 2 hours, something between that. I've done more, let's say when I started as a pole dancer, I did a lot more workout, and now it's more just kind of like maintaining the abilities that I have, my strength, my flexibility. So I don't, in a way, I don't have to make that big work anymore. I have that, and now I just need to keep it going. And but when I'm preparing for competitions, I would say it would be from 1 till 2 hours a day, something between that. Here's a question about the choreographer. What is my inspiration when I start doing new choreos, and how do I decide which spins and combos? Excellent question, Teresa. For me, let's say first that I don't have to think about bringing stuff to stage. I don't have to like force the ideas. Kind of the ideas really, they come to me. The feelings, they are in me, and I'm still just trying to get out all the ideas that I have, and I still have so many ideas that I want to bring into a performance and really just like kind of bring the emotion on stage every single time. I do go see a lot of different shows. I see dance shows, I see ballet, ice skating is, like I said, definitely one of my favorites. So I do look for movement everywhere. But if we would go beyond that, I would say my biggest inspiration is just truly good melody. You know, it's like it's all about the music. I don't ever decide what I want to put in the performance. Okay, the music tells me. All right, so it's like I could be somewhere and I could hear a song, and I could just close my eyes and see the movement, okay? Not necessarily every single movement right away, but I can kind of like, for me, like my brain works the way that I hear music and I see movement. That's, you know, basically the math about my creativity. So, for me, the ideas just, they keep on coming to me. I just keep on hearing them. So the best thing is just the music. Some of my favorite music, where I classical music would be definitely something that I can truly pick up the notes the best, and I prefer instrumental over songs that have just lyrics. So it's either, it's like lyrics or performer. So either or for me, usually. Sometimes I do use songs with lyrics, but usually not. There's somebody asking about a handstand move on pole, Janina. Could you give me some advice to do a handspring with both legs back? I think we're now talking about the handstand movement that I've done in Pole Art 2010 with the legs in the back. First of all, remember, this is an extreme movement. What you need to be working is first with the flexibility. So the movement upside down would be here. This one. So this is basically the movement, but upside down. So that would be something that you definitely, your hip flexors, your hips, you need to start opening up that position first, okay? Once you start to feel, you know, good with your handstand positions, you would definitely need a very solid handstand. I'm talking about like really holding the handstand properly and then bringing your legs in the back when you have the flexibility. Just bringing the legs in the back, it's basically just about if your back is ready for it, if your hips are open enough that you can actually bring them in the back. But at the same time, if you've seen when I do that move in Pole Art 2010, my back is completely straight. So it's completely straight from here. I'm not giving in from my back, okay? So it's like the position is handstand and the legs in the back. And that's also a healthy way of doing those moves and really not just, you know, sitting down your handstand so that it would hurt your back, okay? So we don't want to do too much of these handstand positions with a really arched back, but maybe more with a really straight, tight core, and then from the flexibility to put the legs over, okay? But remember, it's all about the handstand. There are no pole moves that include handstand if you cannot perform a handstand on floor, correct? So please remember, again, like I said about the core training, you need to take the training away from the pole with the handstand too. So you need to be practicing the handstand also without the pole. So next one is Ivana, and in your opinion, how can the objectiveness of judging pole dancing competition be improved? Good question. Is the lack of objectiveness that stops you from participating at certain competitions? Yeah, well, we can take an example. Maybe you are wondering why I don't participate in the World Pole, whatever it's called. The competition that was just held in Zurich. So I did participate in that competition in 2010. I was already thinking about the length. Their performance, the idea of the competition is to have a 5 to 6 minute performance that I was already kind of like questioning that it's too long and it doesn't keep the intensity. It's like it just keeps on going and going and going. So that was definitely one of them. And it's definitely a judging criteria too, because if they are expecting a 5 to 6 minute performance, that's something I am against. I will say 3 till 4, not 5 till 6. And like seriously, who is able to watch like 30 people doing a 6 minute routine? So anyways, back to your question. There are competitions that I feel like they're lacking the professionalism in judging. I used to be a gymnastics judge and a gymnastics coach. For me, it's almost like judging. If I would be looking at pole, I think it would be quite easy to judge, kind of taking the criteria from both gymnastics and ice skating, for example. I'm not too familiar with the ice skating system, but I have some ideas how they score the performers. Yeah, I do not wish to enter competitions that, in my opinion, are not taking the pole, like the competitions into a right direction. So like I said, pole art is definitely, you know, keeping the level really nice and high in the art category. IPC is also, they have it well. I think the scoring system is quite good and accurate. And well, there are some new competitions that I will give a chance and see how they do and how they will evaluate the performances. But yeah. You have to understand, I would not just enter a competition just because I won last year. That's definitely not a criteria for me. Even if I would do good or bad in a competition, I want to see the score lists. I want to see what they're actually doing behind that judge's table. And that's how I definitely base my opinion. Anna is next. Congratulations, first of all. What kind of advice would you give for quite newbies on pole? Would you like to start competing on a bigger scale? For how long had you been practicing when you entered the first competition? Really good question, Anna. Let's take Pole Art 2009. That was my first competition ever. I had practiced pole 8 months before that competition. I know it kind of seems like a really short time, but like you all know, maybe I had a really strong background in gymnastics, and I was craving for the competitions. Anna, for everybody who doesn't know her, she just won the Battle of the Pole Kitten series, and that's why she's asking me this question. And I would definitely recommend as many competitions as you want to do. You need to explore the different competitions. You need to go out there. You need to bring your A game and really work for the goals that you're looking for. When I entered my first competition, my goal was never to be Finnish champion. I wanted to be the best in the world. Well, I'm not even a Finnish champion. So yeah, but it's all about how you're setting your goals. I mean, it's like you can put your goals here, or they can be here, you know, and you will always kind of maybe not go as high as you thought right away. But if you set your goals to this level, you will probably be somewhere here. If you put them there, you will get somewhere around there, you know. So it's all about you. It's like when I saw your performance, when I saw the video, you looked really solid. You look like you're really enjoying the time on stage. So don't even think about that twice. Go for it. You know, do all the competitions that you really think are good competitions for you. And remember, you want to be challenged. There are a lot of people out there that go to competitions only if they think they will win. No, you want competition to be really challenging. And that's the only way you can bring your A game. You don't want an easy competition. You know, it doesn't improve you, right? AJ Artman, hello to California. Your question is, how many times Do I train on pole and off pole? It depends if I'm off season or like competition season. When I'm not, now, like for example, now I'm still not close to my competition, so I try to keep the training outside of the pole just to get like new inspiration, new kind of movement, because pole, it makes you really stiff, right? You know, so it's like this kind of pole position needs to be transformed to this, you know, outside of the competition season, at least for me. So it's like I would definitely recommend, I mean, it depends on the person. For me, it would be maybe 2-3 times pole a week, and then maybe 2 or 3 times something else a week. So maybe 50-50, you know, sometimes 60-40, depending what you're working on, right? Somebody's asking how tall I am. Well, I am 164 centimeters. And in feet, that would be maybe 5'3", I would say. Anne-Marie Davies has a question, why am I so cute? Thank you, Anne-Marie, appreciate it. I tried really hard, not really. Okay, here's a good question. Ivana asked me, do you train? Oh, never mind. Wait, hold on. There are coming so many questions, I can't keep track. Okay, Ivana asked, do I train in a gym too? You mean gym as a, like weights? Not really. I mean, I do, sometimes I work with weights with some, like, for example, my back needs a little more improvement because my body, like the shoulders and the stomach worked really well, and like my thighs, front thighs, but my sometimes my back area is a little bit more weak than the rest of my body. So I do train with weights, just light weights, not too much. The idea why I'm not training with weights is because I do not want to build muscle, and that would take away from my my flow if I would be even more muscular. Do you have tips for training alone? Really good question. Well, first of all, well, now we have polenaerial.com that I would definitely recommend. That's something that you can see the videos on your screen. You can learn from, you know, the different Aryan pole artists, and I guess that would be an ad for you when you're training at home, but remember to do proper warm-ups. That's all I could give you. Like the best tip, do not train cold. You need to do exercise the way that you give yourself a proper training, okay? Like a good tip would be maybe writing down what you are gonna do, right? And then doing the actual training, okay? So not just kind of like, here I am again, let's see what's gonna happen, you know, maybe I'm gonna do a handstand, or no, write it down, do your training, and that's when you get the best results. Best tip for handspring and Iron X. It's all about handstand, okay? So what I already told about the handstand training, you need to do the handstand training off pole, on pole too, but definitely building the core, doing a lot of, the training needs to be really diverse and really, you need to build up your core really well. For, let's say, an Iron X, that's not like a simple move. So it's all about the strength, basically. There's really nothing else. It's just a really static strength move. So, just put it in words like this, I really couldn't. But maybe one thing that I could do Is cameraman ready if we show some action? Something with the Iron X, I would also recommend not maybe always coming from low up, but also coming from the up above, kind of coming down a little bit more. Let's see if I can show it to you. So you're here. Once you start coming down, then you could go back again, come down a little more, up, go down again, up, even more. So, you know, kind of like bouncing into the position, not just kind of like throwing it out there, but really just kind of going into the position little by little, okay? And the same thing, you can, I mean, you can kick into it. So just kind of like holding it this way, just, you know, so both ways. Can you give me some good tips about choreography? Yes, ma'am. I'm always amazed how you make your movements go along with the music. It's fantastic. First of all, a couple of things. You need to own the song, okay? You need to know the song, every single note, if you really want to hit the flow perfectly, okay? Seriously, you need to dream about the song. You need to have it in you, okay? So it's not just kind of like, yeah, I know my moves, how to do them. When I practice for my choreos, I do know what I am doing into a certain beat, but that's still not enough, right? So you want to be also playing with the song. You know, sometimes I would do my choreo exactly how it goes, and sometimes I would just kind of like go with the flow and just like play with it, okay? So I would not maybe actually do what I'm supposed to do, but maybe just kind of like playing with the song and kind of like playing with the idea how it feels. So we have 10 minutes to go. Let's see the last ones. Did I begin my pole dancing at home or in a school? I did my first ever, when I saw an article in a magazine about pole dancing, and I was in an airplane going to New York City, and this is a really funny story actually, because there is a fitness club called Crunch. And I went to Crunch and I took my first lesson ever with Kira Johansson, that we all know from Body and Pole nowadays. And so Kira was my first teacher ever. Hi Kira, if you're watching. And yeah, it was basically, that was my first encounter with pole. And after that I did take some lessons in Helsinki, and it didn't take long when I got my own poles, and that was basically training by myself, maybe sometimes going to some classes, but for me, I would love to go to classes every day, but I'm working with my fitness club for kids, so sometimes my time is limited, and I can't maybe make it to all these classes that are in the schedule. How do I hit the phoenix without hitting your head on the pole when you swing around? Very good question. Cameraman, are you ready? Okay, really quick tips about the phoenix. The problem why you hit your head is that you maybe have your hand too high up, okay? So when you're going around, you're too close to the pole, and that's when you hit your head, right? So what you want to do is basically drop the hand maybe a little more. This does require a really good grip on your hand, right? So when you go around the pole like this, that's when you don't hit your head on the pole. maybe that's not even your problem. The problem is the actual spin, okay? So let's say the pole is here and your spin is, it should be kind of like round around the pole, right? So what you're doing is maybe swinging. So you're doing this, you swing and you hit your head to the pole. So what's really important that if I'm behind the pole, I need to be thinking about a huge spin all the way here, right? I'm still not touching. Now I would put my hand and lift it up, okay? So remember, when you're doing spins, it's not a swing, okay? We're not swinging, we're spinning, okay? Remember that. Somebody, Marinka, wants to see a beautiful combination of something. Let's see if we have time. I will show it to the last. Let's see some other questions and I will come back to it. What is the biggest challenge in your recent pole dance career? Anne-Marie was asking about my biggest challenge. I would still want to see, my challenge is to play the pole in a way that the music comes from me and not actually from, you know, from a CD or something. So it's actually, it would look so clear that I would be playing the pole, which would make the music in my performance. And that's something for an artist that it's really rarely happens, and you could actually transform the movements into notes. So that's something that is always a challenge for me with every single performance. How long have I been breakdancing for? About 2 years now. Where can you buy those beautiful white poles? They're from Finland. They're called Fit Pole, and you can buy them from fitpole.org. Do you think there's an age limit for pole dance? Not really. I know there are some pole studios that it's really hard to maybe join when you're under 16 or under 18, or what stage limit here at Vertical Club?
You can come if you have your parents' seat.
Right. So, I mean, there are some pole studios like Vertical Club says that they state that if your parents would sign you up for the classes, they will be cool with it. So, I mean, you just have to ask from the nearest pole studio. I don't see, I mean, at my gym, we have poles, we have 2-year-olds climbing them. We can go, I mean, we would have to have another talk about the nutrition, just in a couple of words. I eat normal, healthy food. I don't skip fat, I don't skip sugar, never sugar-free, never fat-free, but there's a limit of how much you can eat that stuff. Have I ever been injured? Yes, after my 2010 World Championships, I was training a bit too hard and I hurt my back really bad, and it was just, I was overtraining too much, and it took me almost a year to get it recover, and it was a lot of, where are my rubber bands? It was a lot of these and a lot of different kind of other dance and stretching that, and just good nutrition that kept me going to the healthy direction. And it took me a while to really repair that. So I think we don't, oh my God, there's so many questions. I guess I'll see you next week. How many minutes do we have left? Nothing. So let's just see a nice little combo in the end, all right?